Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Today is one of my favorite unboxings. This is from Book of the Month. These are my September books, and this month I have one book of the month and I have 2 add-ons. So let's check it out and see what's inside. Whoa! This is my box this month. As always, it says you've got great taste, and there's a super fun treat at the top. These are socks, Bookmoji socks. I don't get a closer look at these. They sent these to me for free. This was my prize because I completed the reading challenge. In order to complete the reading challenge, you have to read at least 12 books. So far, I've read 17. You have to read 5 different genres, and I have read 8. And the last thing is you have to read 3 debut authors, and I have read 3. So I will be cozy in this fall in my Bookmoji socks. That was really a fun treat. Thank you to Book of the Month just for making it a little extra fun and sending a prize. And they sent a card with the socks. It says, wow, you never got cold feet, and now you never will. Congrats on completing the 2021 reading challenge. So I love that. Thank you so much. The other card at the top says, keeping books safe since 1926. This month I'm going to do the unboxing first, and then I will review last month's books after that. I will go ahead and tell you one of my books from August. It's not my new favorite. Evelyn Hugo is still my favorite of the year, but this one's right up there. But we will get to that in a minute. Let me go ahead and go over the books for September. The choice for me, I chose Rock, Paper, Scissors. This is classified as a thriller, and on the website it says when a remote anniversary getaway turns eerie, a couple learns if their marriage can bear the weight of their secrets. So I cannot wait to read this. I also added 2 add-ons. The first one is just a fun, relaxing, I like to call these car line books that when I'm sitting in the car waiting on people, instead of scrolling through my phone, I would rather read. So I'm reading People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I've heard so many great things about this. So I cannot wait to read this one. And the last book in the box is Once There Were Wolves. This was one of the August Book of the Month choices, and I just saw so much buzz about this. People were talking about it all over the place online, so it doesn't seem like my cup of tea, but I was so curious I had to check it out. And online it says, a woman journeys to Scotland determined to save the wilderness, but tragedy bites as her new life starts to settle. So we'll see. I'm a little nervous about this one, but again, curiosity killed the cat or the wolf, I don't know. But I had to try it. I had to check it out. So I'll let you know next month if I enjoyed it. If you read this one, let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed it or not. At the very bottom of the box is a bookmark, one of my favorite parts. And this month's bookmark says, I tend to get lost. It looks like a little picture. It's got a little picture of a maze next to it. So I'm gonna say this month's bookmark is amazing. Ooh, that was bad. With Book of the Month, every month you get to choose 1 out of 5 books, and they ship it directly to you. I'll have a coupon code in the description below, so if you'd like your first book for only $5, be sure to use that and check that out. Like I mentioned earlier, the book I chose this month was the thriller Rock, Paper, Scissors. The other choices for September, the first one is a romance novel called The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood. There's a memoir called Beautiful Country by Kian Julie Wang. There's a contemporary fiction called The Sweetest Remedy, and that is by Jane Igharo. Final choice is a contemporary fiction called The Neighbor's Secret, written by L. Allison Heller. If you are a Book of the Month Club member, let me know which book you chose this month. And if you've already finished it, let me know if you enjoyed it. I'm always looking for new add-ons each month. I have just loved reading all these books this year. So let me know if there is one you recommend. And let me go over my add-ons and my Book of the Month for August. My Book of the Month for August was Not a Happy Family. And actually, I don't even have a copy to hold up because I have already let someone borrow that one. But This one was not my favorite book of the month. It was a mystery, and I think the reason I didn't love it is because I did not really love any of the characters. So there was no one I was cheering for. I really just finished the book because I was curious how they were going to wrap it up, who did it and why. So it was a great Carline book. It wasn't life-changing, but it was interesting enough to keep reading and figure out who did it. So that was Not a Happy Family. I'll go ahead and show you my favorite book, and this is going to go in my top 3 of the year so far. So I'll have to go back and see my official list. I think it is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, The Lost Apothecary, and The Girl in Cabin 10. So if I remember correctly, those are my top 3. I'm not quite sure where this one's going to jump in. Maybe number 2? I'm going to put this one at number 2 of the year. And this is The People We Keep. I loved this book. This book just brought out my emotions. I was cheering for April. I was frustrated with April. I'm like, come on, girl, that's a terrible choice. But you just fell in love with her. At least I did. I loved April. I loved Adam. I loved, I think, Margot. And then there are some characters that I just hated. But the fact that the author was able to pull these emotions from me. And also, I love the setting. It was set in the mid-90s, which was kind of when I thrived. So I love the time period. I really just thought April was such a well-written character. And this book really made me emotional. So that's why I love it. I'm going to place this as my number 2 book of the year so far. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. If you have read it, I have heard some people don't understand what the hype is, so some people aren't loving it. This was one of the July book of the month books, and I heard so many people raving about it that I had to check it out, and I'm so glad I did. So this one, I highly recommend you grab it. So if you have read it, let me know in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you not love it? What did you think about April? The second add-on is The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave, and this was one of the May 2021 Book of the Month choices, and I had heard so much about this one as well. And it had an interesting concept because it's a stepmother and her stepdaughter and her husband / the daughter's father, he just mysteriously disappears. So they're trying to get to the bottom of it in this book. I was excited to see how it ended, but definitely not as heartfelt, pulling heartstrings as The People We Keep. So definitely enjoyed this one more. The last book I wanted to share with you this month is not a book of the month choice. It is a young adult book. I like to read what my kids are reading. A few months ago, they suggested They Both Die at the End, and that book was amazing. It's a young adult book, but I highly recommend it. Check that one out. This month, my young adult book that I read was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. And this was a great mystery. I couldn't put this down. I'm definitely not the target demographic for this book, but I loved it. I love how it was written. I love Pippa. I love Ravi. I just love how they solved it. And if you love a young adult murder mystery book, then this one is for you. That was everything in my September Book of the Month box. If you have a Book of the Month unboxing, please leave that in the comments below. I would love to see the book you chose. And I'm excited to go try on my new socks. Be sure to check out my coupon code in the description below. You can get your first Book of the Month book for only $5, and that is such a great deal. So be sure to check that out. If you do have any questions about Book of the Month, you can put those in the comments as well. I've been doing it since January, and I have read so many great books. I've loved it, and I highly recommend it. And that's it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe.